Off to a really good start. Got to take the mute button off. My hair's all messy today. What's going on? Nice to see you guys again. Hey, I had a week off there, but welcome to the official Party Hog Road Story Show. This is number 10. 10 of these things we've been doing here for a little while. So welcome to the show here tonight. We got a great show lined up for you here. It's had a little, like I said, a little bit of time off. Sorry, I'm not ignoring you guys here. I'm trying to share this on another page here as well. So there we go. We've got that shared up. Now we can just kind of enjoy the show here. All right. Thanks for tuning in tonight. I am Mike the Party Hog. Look, and this is what else is different. I'm out of contact lenses. So tonight you get the bespectable. Bespectable? Not respectable. Let's go with that one for sure. I got my glasses on because I got stuff to read tonight. Hey! Official Party Hog Road Story number 10. Well, boys and girls, I'd like to thank my new sponsor for tonight. Here we go. House Elf Cleaning Service out in Spruce Grove and Stony Plain in the surrounding area of the Parkland County. Get a hold of them. Just look them up in Facebook. Search in Facebook for House Elf Cleaning Service or call 780-604-3519. They'll come clean your house. Give yourself a break, man. You don't need to be doing that. So a couple of very nice girls working that company there, and one of them's my niece. So there it is. That's why they're getting the plug here tonight. Plus, they're good. They're just really good at what they're doing. So go check them out. Hey, a little bit of news to wrap up here. The reason we didn't do the show last Monday is because I was doing my Tush Fest thing. And we had Tush Fest 11.5. We held it on stage at the Century Casino in Edmonton. And we raised $5,092.75 so that we can continue the parking pass program where we buy parking passes for cancer patients. So when you go to get your treatments, or families are going to see loved ones and they can't afford the parking, and or you're just getting chemo, you shouldn't be paying parking anyway, man. But they charge $15 every time you go to the Cancer Institute. So we pay that parking pass. You get a hold of us at tushfest.com, and we can help you guys out with that. And as well, too, standing O to each and everybody who has participated in all the Tush Fests over the years, made their donations to help make that telethon version happen. So, buzzing big time. I'm buzzing big time. Oh, I see what's buzzing. There we go. I'll bet that fixed it. It's my little sound. Oh, that's it. It's that frickin' cord. Sorry, guys. Technical BS, man. I take a week off and everything just goes to shit here, doesn't it, huh? Sorry, that was my sound effects, which means I got no cool sound effects for tonight. Well, I don't need them because I got a really cool guest. But before we get there, hey, I'd like to also mention that I did a gig for Feed the Homeless, YEG, in Edmonton last week. Please, somebody give me the thumbs up. Tell me I fixed that problem, but I'm pretty sure I did. I played out in Thorsby, and we had a great little outdoor thing where we raised some money to help feed the homeless of Edmonton. And I did a gig with Trainwreck, and oh God, she added me as a friend on Facebook today too. Lindsay Rose. I'm not sure if that's right either. Oh, she was really good. I'm very sorry. My apologies to her. Also, I'd like to send out my apologies to all the sound tech friends of mine who I pissed off with my joke today. I meant no disrespect. I was just having a little bit of fun. I'm very happy to be seeing all the bands getting back at it, and I just saw a whole bunch of plexiglass up on the stage, and I just thought I'd make a little joke about it. That's all, you guys. So my apologies if I ruffled any soundman feathers out there. Just pushing your buttons, guys, trying to keep things light. That's all. So anyway, let's get on with the show here. What I got to do here is take that button out, and I'm going to get into my little series that I've been doing. This is number 7 in the series of my top 10 worst. Well, usually I do the best gig first and then the worst gig. This week it's in reverse, okay? Top 10 worst gigs of all time, the Watson Lake and the Yukon. Number 7. Well, why was it the worst gig? Well, because the sun never went down. I played there in June for a month. A fucking month. Nice people. But the sun never went down. I was up all night. I couldn't sleep. It was and noise complaints. Go figure. Me getting noise complaints, huh? How do you figure that, eh? Lots of noise complaints. Well, anyway, and one other big pisser about it was there's a guy that used to play down in used to play up there. He played up there for 20 years, and he did an act very similar to me, but he'd been doing it a few years before I got into the scene. So he was well established up there. Everybody loved him. I was the new guy. Well, he got everybody at his gig, and I got nobody. And that went on for 3 fucking weeks. Just killing me every night. But he owned that town, so I didn't have to worry about it. Now, that was the worst gig. Now, again, you might have noticed these things keep happening, why the best and worst gigs seem to be the best one. Well, I'll tell you now why it was the best gig also in Watson Lake. Because I was supposed to do 6 nights a week and have Sunday off, and then they the Greyhound used to bring people up, and they'd spend the night at the hotel before they'd carry on their adventure up north. And the hotel across the street used to accommodate these people. They couldn't do that anymore, so they're staying at my hotel, which meant the bus was there 3 nights a week with people trying to sleep. So I wasn't allowed to make any noise past 10 o'clock. So they said, your 6 nights is now 3 nights, and you're done by 10 p.m. We're still going to pay you the same, which was a giant bucket of money, which is why I went up there to begin with. But I tell you, folks, the reason that turned out to be the best gig, to this day, probably the most amazing driving experience of my life going up there to play this gig. Right at the end of springtime, everything was blooming. I've never seen so many bears and elk and moose and just everything on the road. The flowers were blooming. It was just the best, most intense drive I've ever had. And then coming down south from there through Dease Lake and through Terrace and Smithers and all that north. Again, Canada is a beautiful country, so I've been lucky enough to get out on the road and hit a few things up out there. So there it is, my top 10 best and worst gigs of all time. All right, let's take that out. God, this is weird doing this show with the glasses. You guys doing all right out there? You know what I forgot? I forgot this part of the show. How you guys? Cheers to you. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Get your drinks, everybody out there. Get a sociable. Booze goes up. Booze goes down. All right. I'm not lying. I am a little hungover. And that's just the way it is, folks. I'm a little hungover today, but working on round 2 here. So, tell you what, we're going to get on with the show. Now, my first guest here, my one and only guest here tonight, sent me his bio. Usually I ask the guest to send me a bio, something I kind of read up on. And, you know, you get kind of half sentences and stuff. But I tell you, Terry sent me the bio of all bios. And I'm pretty much going to read this for you verbatim as to what I got. And I'm going to rip through it here. Terry SAWBONES GRANT. Jesus, like, just get your shit together here, buddy. There we go. Playing professionally since a precocious but naive age of 19, Mr. Grant's rock and roll resume has seen him travel across Canada, up and down the U.S., and recently, but virtually, around the world via the soulless, underpaid magic of music streaming. This Edmonton-born former professional dishwasher shuns the word musician in favor of the more apt entertainer, or in trusted drunken company, hack. He takes partial credit for E-Town's glam metal movement in the 80s and full credit for single-handedly bringing Looking Sinfully Cool, look at him, to the city's Christian rock music scene in the 90s. Terry's recorded 6 albums, appeared kicking and screaming in several and sometimes award-winning music videos. Considered a lucky charm as he has rubbed shoulders with countless musicians who've gone on to stardom and professional repute, Mr. Grant bravely carries on, smiling through the tears, proudly wearing the proverbial bridesmaid dress, acknowledging the aforementioned glam metal roots, and forever holds the support local music banner higher than a Black Crowes CD release party. Terry's interests include soccer, candlelight dinners, and thinking of you. That's just a little special one there. And as well, fun facts. Terry is not musically trained, yet he records, performs, and composes under the foolish presumption that he is. He spent 10 years in the local Christian rock scene developing the stage maneuver known as the Forbidden Move, but quickly discarded it when it caused some audience members to actually acknowledge their sexuality. Played bass professionally for 35 years. Played guitar professionally for 2 and is a pretty good nose flute player with no gigs there. Is how that happens. So, hey, I am happy and proud to. Whoa, hey, I got him full screen. Sorry, Terry, we'll fix that. And I did it again, buddy. Look at this guy. He can't control his own equipment here. Take you out. Hang on. Oh, I got it working. Can you hear me, Terry?
I can hear you, Mike.
All good. Nice to see you, sir. How are you tonight?
Good. I like the picture you're showing there.
The last one there.
Yeah.
You dress better than anybody I know in rock and roll, my friend. Honest to God. I'm not kidding. I'm really not kidding.
Can you see the look on my face?
Yeah.
Oh,
Love it, man. Good to see you tonight, Terry. How you doing, buddy?
give me a second, will you, Mike?
Yeah,
Come on.
You know what? I'm gonna have a little sip while you're doing that.
I'll join you. Whoop.
Cheers to you, brother. There
Up
we
your
go.
dividend.
All right.
Up your dividend.
All right. Good to see you. So, how are things tonight? Doing good?
Good. Really good. I didn't get a chance to wash my hair. Sorry, ladies. After work, so you have to take me as I am. And good evening.
There you go. Well, I mean, you must be pretty popular with the ladies. I'm telling you, all them fancy dressing that you
Oh
do on
yeah.
stage by.
Oh yeah. You know it, man. Ask all my friends how popular I am with ladies.
So, like, I mean, I know what it's like wearing stuff on stage. But I sweat profusely, so nobody wants to come near me at the end of the night. That's just it.
Oh, you're working hard.
I'm working hard. Well,
Working hard.
yeah. I appreciate that. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, that's quality perspiration.
Yeah, that's right. And or just sweating out the tequila kind of thing, right? So.
Are you one of those guys that smells entirely like the intoxicant that you've consumed?
No, it has happened occasionally. I don't have that stale death beer smell that some guys get. Like
I've been in a few bands with guys like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that just it's just coming out their pores. You're wondering what the hell, eh?
Yeah.
So, shall we begin the interrogation, huh?
Yeah. Give me the third degree, brother.
All right, buddy. Well, let's start off with where were you born?
I'm E-Town, born and bred.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
That's born and bred and lived here like pretty much your whole life, or?
Well, once I started getting into rock and or roll, I moved around a little bit more, but for the most part, I stayed in Edmonton. Yeah.
Cool. So, what was your first real musical memory as a kid?
Oh, actually listening to my mother's ABBA records and 50s rock. She loved 50s rock, loves 50s rock.
Wow.
And so those are the first. And so that's what I highly recommend. Take it from Uncle Ter. I highly recommend you learn your little children rock and roll, because it's a good basis foundation for the future, and that's what my mom did. So that's and it's a great hobby too.
Absolutely, I agree fully with that. Now I've got a bit of a baby pic of you up there, looking really cute with a little ukulele. I've got a
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I've got a pic similar to that. I don't remember it either, but it's nice to know that was your first guitar. At least you got a picture of it, right?
Oh, it's my first guitar, yeah.
There you go. So what was your first real instrument?
Well, I thought it was going to be, believe it or not, keyboards when I were a wee lad. And I quickly realized once I discovered Kiss, wait a second, there's nobody in Kiss that plays keyboards. Well, I got to get on board with something else here. So all my friends had picked their favorite guy. So I didn't know who to pick, except I just took the last guy. They all looked cool to me. And it turned out that was the bass player, Gene Simmons. And so I thought, well, I better learn how to play the bass. And so So it was officially bass. Yeah.
Somebody wanted to be Paul before Gene.
Hmm.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
unusual.
He's
Usually,
he's
Gene's the
he's a
first
woman now.
one, eh?
He's a woman now.
Oh, okay, all right. Uh,
Not that
yeah,
there's anything wrong with that.
not that there's anything wrong with
Nope.
that at all. No,
Fantastic. In fact,
no.
can sing better now.
Well, there you go. There you
Higher
go.
voice.
It's just it's odd. Like usually, Gene is the one everybody gravitates towards too. You
Yeah.
think?
Yeah. And Ace, of course.
Well, yeah, Ace.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
Yeah.
poor Peter. Oh, poor Peter. He's always the last to get picked.
Yeah. Last he's like a dodgeball, eh? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, what was
Yeah.
your so when you decided to go with the bass? What was your first bass? Did you get like something real first, or was it like the starter?
Well, yeah, it was my mom, again, to her credit, bought me a bass. It was a Sears bass. It was like a Fender Precision copy, but it
Uh-huh.
was purchased from Sears for the princely sum of $99.
Oh boy.
And I loved that thing. It was like my best buddy, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but it didn't matter. You stand in the mirror. You've been standing in front of a mirror with pool cues and tennis rackets, and then now you get a real guitar, and then now shit just got real when I was it used to be 13.
Wow.
Yeah.
So right to the bass. Did you like pick up a little guitar afterwards, or was it kind of hand in hand? Or
The only time I ever played guitar was when I eventually got into other people's. When I eventually got into bands,
Mhm.
I started. I'd pick up my guitar player's guitar and see if I could do stuff with it. I didn't know what I was doing there, but I learned a few power chords there, and that just got me going. But I never played guitar professionally. It
Yeah.
was always bass, and only until recent years have I actually gotten away with murder and get the occasional pay to play some guitar. But yeah, at my core, I'm a bass player.
That's good. Now, I love hearing about the first bands and stuff. What was like the first band that you were in, and what was it like?
First band I was in was I'd only been out of high school for 6 months, and so at that tender precocious age of 19, I got my first band, which was called Revenge. Yeah. So yeah, we went on the road immediately. I was kind of in a basement band, and we were just hacking, and then this guy came to a party. This guy with a long leather coat and long hair, and he came to our house party. And this band I was in at the time was called Velvet Hammer. It's hard to get. Excuse me. Velvet Hammer. So anyway, Velvet Hammer didn't do, doodly squat, and
Great name.
so anyway, yeah, it's a good name. No, it's a good name. And so for what I didn't care, I didn't choose. I was just happy to play with a bunch of guys, and we were trying to get gigs. Of course, we couldn't because we were terrible. And so this guy, this mysterious, long-haired, long-jacketed stranger, comes to one of our house parties, and he says, "I need a guitar player and I need a bass player." And for what? I said naively once again, and to go on the road. And like, the road, well, that's where I want to be. So yeah, no more loyalty to I packed up and I left, and they were so mad at me. And of course, why wouldn't they be? And I went on the road with Revenge, and at 19 years old, and that's where I started to learn how to do what I'm supposed to do.
So
Very exciting.
Where did you guys play? Like I mean, we all kind of did the C, B, then get up to the A circuit kind of thing. But
Sure.
it was it like BC, Alberta, the Pinocas?
Yeah. Yeah.
The
It
world.
was. Yeah. It was. Yeah. Alberta, BC, and Saskatchewan, in the very beginning, and with awesome routing, as you can imagine, Mike.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah. But yeah, and I didn't know. I didn't care. It was just like, you just go on the road and you're with your friends, and it's a good time, and you're plying your craft. You're trying to figure things out, and you're learning from people older than you, because the guy that was that drummer. His name was Dave Taylor, and he met an untimely professional demise. He cut his. Oh, this is a great story. This is about stories, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So he was the guy that spearheaded that, and so we went on the road as Revenge, and he had years of experience, and he was really cool. Big Keith Moon fan. It was all about showbiz, and I learned at an early age about showbiz. Putting on some sort of a show, because there's a million bands out there, and they all look the same, and they don't do anything else other than play their music, which is great. But you got to put yourself something to set yourself apart from all those those schmucks. And so and I say that with Christian love.
I know.
Oh, yeah. Sure, yeah. Anyway, so we went on the road, and that band lasted 6 months. Our first gig was Grand Prairie. I can't remember the name of the hotel, but it was warming up for Tall. Do you remember them?
Oh yeah.
Excellent name, because there was 2 guys in the band that were tall.
I know, yeah. But then there was another guy that was like 5'0" in the band too.
Yeah, actually,
I was a drummer or something. Yeah.
I'd heard he was 5'11". But he looked like a shrimp next to those 2 behemoths up there. So yeah, it was like the Canadian Wasp or something, like the 2 tall guys in the band. So that was very exciting. And then Peace River and Fairview after that, and on and on and on. The second band that we were in was with Dave Taylor, and it was called RAF, and we thought it was a clever acronym that could stand for just about anything rude.
Yeah.
And so we went on the road with that, and in a gig, and not long after that, in Valley View, Alberta, at the Y Hotel.
Oh boy, yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
We were playing. It was a Tuesday night, and it was in between set breaks. And I went up to the room. I was like, oh, it's boring in here. So I went to the room, and I remember, clear as day, I was watching Eddie Murphy, Delirious or Raw. What was the first one?
Delirious was the first one.
Delirious. Yeah. So I was watching that. Dave and I were rooming because we're the rhythm section. Rhythm section has to always room together. That was the rule, right? Yep. So he's in the can. I'm watching the TV. In comes our light man, Steve, and he was a bit of a he was crazy guy, and he, for some reason, he had like a Bowie knife with him, and he goes, where's Dave? And I go, hey, he's in the can, and I'm still watching. He's in there, and he goes, watch, here are the famous last words. Watch, I'm gonna scare Dave.
Oh.
So Dave finishes in the bathroom, comes out, and as a joke, Steve goes, like Psycho or something, right?
Yeah.
And Dave didn't know what the hell was going on, so he blocked the shot that he thought was coming at him. It wasn't. It was just Steve making the motion. So he got his hand in the way, and he sliced the tendon in his thumb, and all of a sudden, it's just a horror show. It's just blood. He's like, I got cut. And Steve's like, oh, I'm sorry. And I'm like, shut up, I'm watching Eddie Murphy over here. And I look, because it was important, very important in comedy. And so I look over, and oh my God, it's like blood. And I'm like, whoa, what do we do? So now we call in the ambulance, whatever, this and that. We can't play the next sex. He goes to the doctor. We hear that, he can't play the rest of the night because his hand's in a bandage. The next day, he can't feel his hand. Now we can't play the gig. Band is over. Dave goes back living at home. Eventually recovered the use of his hand, but except for some of the feeling in his little pincers. So the part that partially holds the drumstick that you're supposed to hold when you play the drums. Yeah. He couldn't do that anymore, and his career ended really that night. The band ended, his career ended, and yeah.
That is tragic, man. I mean, like.
Yeah. It was pretty brutal, and that's not the first time I've had a drummer get cut with something that almost ended their career. I got a story about Gator later on too, if you want to hear that.
Okay, yeah, well, that's it. Let's kind of we got one band to get to, and then we'll bring in a little bit of Gator here. I think now this, I love old band promos, man. I mean, I really do, and you were right. You nailed it about having a look. Entertain. I mean, that's what it was about back then. We had we had bars that had, with Strychnine, we had the spinning drummers.
Yes, yes.
It was literally, a new video would come out, and a new fashion trend amongst all the musicians would basically be starting. So we all have these pictures where we're young and
Relatively good looking.
Relatively good looking, although we always seem to have our clothes got shredded somehow.
Yeah.
And but this is Straight Jacket. This goes back to 1985 with you guys. Straight Jacket. You guys are a Motley Crue tribute band back then.
At first we weren't, and then we discovered we could make more money as a tribute. So we may have been one of the first, if not the first, Motley Crue tribute.
I kind of had to figure that, because I mean, about the same time I was doing my Aussie show. But boy, yeah, that been around. It's rare to have a tribute band so early. But yeah, definitely the money's in the tribute act. So for sure, and as well we've got Straight Jacket appearing with Ken and Annie. Another tribute band as well, too.
Yeah. It was a great double bill.
Double bill at the old Highway Motor Inn.
Yeah, sure.
That's God. I miss all these old promo things that used to be in the papers. It was just that Monday ritual. Who's in town this week?
Yeah. It was, and there were so many venues back then. So many venues to play in, and people went there and enjoyed it, and the live scene and stuff. And I was the last band to play the St. Albert Inn, and they said, yeah, no, that's the end of the bands. You guys are the last ones. And they said, you want all these promo shots? And he had a stack of band promos. I wish I would have taken them because it was a who's who of Edmonton and Saskatchewan bands there. And but yeah, the Glossies, and very very exciting times back then. And of course, I mean, a lot of bands, they looked really cool. They knew how to do the image. And others, not so much.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, some of it was, you kind of had to blame it, I guess, on just.
Well, they're young too. And they're still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, but not always though. I think there was a lot of us young guys, like you and I, were kind of started off in the same situation where we were in a band with some older guys, and it was like I had no problem putting on certain outfits, ripping up my shirt and all that.
Sure.
But I did have, I had a guitar player. I'm not fucking dressing like that, and it was just like hockey jersey this night, hockey jersey that night, and like, come on, at least try, nope, I'm not in this for that. And it's, well, look, sorry. I hope he's not watching, but where are you now, buddy?
Yeah. But it made an impact. It made an impact. It made people go like, wow, what are these freaks on stage? And then they talk about it, and then bands are trying to outdo each other. Like Lemmy from Motorhead, rest in peace. He used to say, "Look, when you go on stage, look like you're from another planet. People want to see something that's not around them. They don't want to see somebody that looks like them in the audience." You got to.
And when you're playing in small towns like that was the challenge as well too.
Yeah.
Because you get there Monday, and you had about the 10 or 15 people that would come out just to see who the band was and if they were going to like them or not. And if you blew them away, that's it. Boom. Word spread through town, and things could really, and we all know that the best way to try and make money in the business is when you do well at a club, they bring you back, you get a raise, everybody's happy. So when you're not doing your job on stage, you shouldn't be wondering, well, they never had us back again. Well,
But that was the great thing about the scene back then. You talked about the A and B and C circuit. Where else? I mean, nowadays bands can't develop on stage because there's not enough places to play, let alone quality places to play. And so where are bands going to go? They're to learn how to act on stage and to suck at first, but then get better. And there's not, but back then it was everywhere. You could go to a small town and work it out. By the time you got to the big city, we've got an A room, the Riv Rock room. Oh, we get the big time, boys. Then there's a developmental thing. Like going to the farm team or something. There's the lower circuits. That's what that was for. And then you get better, and it was a great time. I saw guys just smoking right by me. Like I watched people behind me going, "Oh yeah, well, he could be something like," and I'm still doing my thing, and trying to pose and point and pout and play my guitar, and then and they shot to stardom. Happened a lot.
Yeah, you kind of, yeah. I've seen a few guys
Hey,
go
I'm happy
through.
for them.
Absolutely, yeah.
No, I'm happy for them. Yeah,
Well, you got, yeah, you got to be happy for them.
especially if they're local. Because
Oh
then you
yeah,
go, the local boy's done good. That's
yeah,
fantastic. Guys that like that. Like, remember how exciting it was when Pretty Rough got a recording contract.
oh
White
yeah.
Wolf, Dark Room. That was exciting times back then.
Yeah, I remember Mike Patchulek was our sound man. We were playing, doing a bit of the B circuit before we hit the A thing with a one magic gig that made it happen. But yeah, we were playing the White Wolf cassettes
Mm.
every break during,
Yep.
you come in and hear it, and then we went and saw them open for Kick Axe, and and 6 years later, I'm working at the music store with one of the guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like it's just.
They were
Different
our
levels,
heroes.
It's like the
Yeah.
up, the down, and the meet in the middle. Sometimes all that kind of stuff, So
Yeah. Yeah. And those guys were our heroes. We aspired to be like them.
well, yeah, they got signed to Columbia Records or a
Yeah.
Sony record
All
deal, I
those all
believe it
those
was. Yeah,
guys, they got record deals and
yeah,
then videos and touring and they all went broke, I'm sure, or not many, but that's just the way it goes. But you still hold them in such high regard. Every time I see Cam McLeod, I try not to shit my pants because he's so cool,
yeah,
and the nicest man to me. I thought he looks blustery and he's gonna bark at me, say something like that's gonna be belittling to me, because I'm small and he's Cam McLeod. No, nicest guy. Has a lot of respect for musicians and people who play in it and who have been around a long time too. Jim Gray is another one
oh
of
yeah,
Darkroom. Like
yeah,
what a sweetheart of a guy, and I'm glad that they still kept being nice people to us lower downs. Still dreaming, I suppose.
yeah. I was lucky enough to work with Cam for a few years in a
Yeah,
band, a duo, and yeah, I learned a lot from it. It was kind of cool, you see them play, you see them in their videos, and it's like, that one guy catches your eye. That guy's got a good voice. Damn, he's a good
yeah,
guitar player, and then yeah, a few years later, you find yourself like you look over and Jesus, how did this happen? What am I doing here, man? Like,
yeah, yeah. But
but
it's
yeah, I
also a bit
learned a
of a
lot.
it's a little bit of a luck of the draw too. You have to be good, and you have to be prepared, and you have to have some contacts and stuff, and then you have to be a little bit lucky because how much talent do you know that has gone by the wayside? Why didn't they make it big?
Yeah,
They're 58 times better than me, and and way better than some of the guys that did make it. Let's say, and just this lady luck did not smile upon them, and that's kind of sad.
yeah, and some nights I was thinking, geez, the only reason I got the gig with Cam is because I'm the designated driver home.
Oh, is that? Yeah, sure.
Just kidding, Cam. I love you, buddy. So, hey, we're going to move on to your next band, Teacher's Pet here, and yet again, this is so cool that you've got these old pictures. Teacher's Pet, Tin Lizzy's, man. I love that bar. I really miss that place.
The Sunday buffet.
Oh,
That
the
was
food
always a
fights.
madhouse. Oh
Yeah,
my God. It was
yeah.
a shit show by the end of it. I feel bad for the people that ran that place because they'd have to clean up after all the rock and rollers and the groupies
Oh,
and the ne'er do wells and yeah.
disgusting there. Did you
Yeah.
ever have to? Did you ever stay upstairs in the hotel room at all?
No, no,
No.
I usually just went home
Yeah, so, okay,
because I
you're
lived
lucky.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did a couple of weeks there, I think, and we had to stay in the damn room upstairs, which was just nasty,
Like
really nasty.
one room for the whole band.
One room, the entire band. It was an old office space, and there was like 6 cots in there, and
Right.
not even a shower. It was just a tub with a big bucket for you. Oh, it was the rudest thing, and of course the dance club was right
Yeah.
next door there too. So at 11 o'clock, hey guys, will you please welcome? Oh Jesus,
Hmm.
trying to sleep here. But you know what? Now we got Brian. There's Steve. There's you and Gator. There's Gator there.
There's Gator.
The one, the only Gator, drummer for Blackwater Jack as well too. Brian's doing some tribute band stuff out of Calgary as well too.
Ironically, he's in a Motley Crue tribute.
That's right.
Isn't
too.
that awesome?
That's right.
Yeah.
And Steve's done a few performances at Tush Fest with Hostage, with Teacher's Pet as well. You guys did that, and oh my God, hey, you know what? I think I got a clip.
Oh,
I have a clip of you guys playing at Tush Fest.
9?
Tush
Tush Fest
that's
9.
right. Sorry, I knew it was 9. Yeah, Tush Fest 9. Now this was we broadcast this on the Tush Fest telethon last week, so that's why I've got a really nice clip here. I'm just going to run a bit of this for you guys. This is with Bill, Steve, Brian, Steve, Terry, and Ed Zern on drums this night.
Yeah.
So a little Teacher's Pet from Tush Fest. Here we go.
Wait, never had a chance to love you, and I only want to say I love you one more time. Wait, just a moment, for our love will die, 'cause I must know the reason why you said goodbye. Wait just a moment and tell me why, 'cause I can show you love that you won't deny. Here comes.
I like taking them out right when they hit the chorus just to fry the bacon of all the ladies out there that love that song.
Yeah, I didn't see the video there. I presume it was good.
You weren't able to see the video.
No, I don't see anything. All I can see is well, it's not such a bad thing. All I can see is a picture of me, which I could look at all night.
What shit?
Says my ego.
That's yeah, you know what, Terry? I'm kind of at the mercy of a new software upgrade that these guys did with the iOS going to 14 and that as well too. So it was some things I don't think are quite. You should be seeing everything I'm showing you on your end there, but
no, I just got the first picture that you put up. But how did we look? See,
okay.
You guys
are great.
We sounded okay, sure, yeah, but how did we look? Of course,
you guys, you look. Who cares about the other guys? As long as you look good, right? Come on.
Well. Yes, of course, Mike.
Absolutely, man. That's the right answer.
But the guys were great. It was so cool to do all those Tush Fest events are so amazing because the fans dig it because it takes them back to the 80s, and the bands are jazzed because a lot of them haven't played with each other for years, and the chemistry was not only there, it was more so. Everybody had grown as musicians, and that was amazing. Like, 25 years ago, no offense to Brian, I wouldn't have thought he could play the song back then. And then we were rehearsing, and we're going to do Wait. And I said, do White Lions wait?
Yeah.
Or Pablo, I don't know who you're talking about, whose cover version of this different, another band maybe. Oh yeah, we're going to do it. Oh, okay. And I thought to myself, well, that's not going to, we'll be doing Crazy Train in about 5 minutes here. And, no, and he killed that solo. He's ripping those Vito Bratta licks, and I'm like, holy shit! And Steve can sing better and higher than he did in the '80s. I'm like, man, time has been great to everybody, and so it was such a joy. And Gator couldn't make the gig, and Ed Zern filled in, who actually Gator replaced in Straight Jacket, going back a couple of bands. But
That's right.
and Ed stepped up, and of course Ed's a showman, and yeah, it was glorious. It was great fun.
That's good. Yeah, you guys played a great set that night. Went over great with the crowd.
Yeah, I
It was a
thought so.
pleasure to have you guys. And yeah, it's cool seeing the bands get back together, have that vibe again going for that night, and it is pretty cool. I think we mentioned this in the Tush Bash show last week. Sometimes the musicians show up and they're not quite sure what to expect that first one. They're like, what's this, And then when they're done, it's like, holy shit, I had no idea. So they come back the next year and it's like, dressed a little fancier, just a
Yeah.
little more of this and that going on kind of thing. So
Yeah.
now that takes us to what I found interesting about this next promo, this next band you were in, The Level.
Yes.
Now, I played the Metro as well too. It really, before it burned down, and
Yeah.
I got kicked out of there. It just
Can you
crazy.
can you elaborate on that a little bit?
They used to have Apple Monday nights.
Yeah.
And it was apple cider for $1 and apple shooters for $1.
Oh.
And all I remember was drinking lots of apples stuff and getting kicked out. And I woke up the next day with I bought a quarter-pound brick of hash in my fucking jacket. And
Wow.
I had no idea how it got there.
I thought it was going to end poorly
idea
for
how
you.
no idea how it got there at all. But it just, and then suddenly my bass player Danny calls, finds me the next day. Hey man, you got my hash. Oh, it's your hash. Well, there's a lot less of it now. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Metro. I mean, did you guys head out to Vancouver? Did you join a Vancouver band or?
Yeah, that was an interesting thing. I was in between bands, and the Level, the singer was Sandra, and she was in an Alberta band called Frantic.
That's right.
And then she went out to Vancouver, and they have this band called The Level, and it was managed by another personal hero of mine, Larry Gilstrom of Kick-Axe.
Oh hell yeah! Yeah.
And so I keep getting. I remember I kept getting phone calls from Larry Gilstrom saying Frantic had seen you play, and they need a bass player who can play keyboards, because I faked. Faked playing keyboards because I wanted to showcase myself, because if you're just a bass player, and I say that with all due respect to bass players who are very good at what they do, but if you're just doing one thing, you are this valuable to the band. You fill that particular role. But if you can do that and sing and play keyboards, then you're like a little mini Geddy Lee poser, aren't you? So
there you go. A lot more work opportunities. That's for sure.
yeah, exactly. And so I've learned how to develop my singing and develop my ear for harmony and stuff. And so they said, I guess they saw me at a show and they liked me. So they told Larry Gilstrom about me. So he's calling me, and I'm like, who are you? Like you're what, are you playing a joke on me? You're like, I couldn't believe it was Larry Gilstrom. But yeah, he said, no, come out to Vancouver and you got a gig waiting for you. And I said, okay. So I was stuck in Calgary, in between bands, staying at this very nice girl's house, who put up with me, and I didn't have a job. I didn't have any gear. I schlepped my gear down to whatever music store at the time. Walked in the store, and I said, I can't pay for these anymore. And I put it down. And I walked out. And I had no gear. Started from nothing. How am I going to get to Vancouver now? Because I had no money coming in. And so I said, that's the goal. Got to get to Vancouver. And so stuck in Calgary, what am I going to do? As I was walking back to the music store, I saw, 17th Avenue, 14th Street, in and around there.
Yeah.
The Red Mile and all that.
That's right.
And all the Mother's Music was on the corner there. And it was quite a happening thing. So I was walking back from the music store, from coming down from the hill. On the corner, so almost kitty corner from Mother's, was a chocolate shop, a high-end sort of dessert shop for the hoi, for not for hoi polloi like me, but for the the upper snobbery, upper crust of society in Calgary. And so there's a sign in the door that said, "Help wanted, dishwasher." And I said, you know what? I don't have a job. I don't have any skills. But my heroes in rock and roll, they I remember their stories of being downtrodden and destitute, and they took on menial jobs. You hear all about, Black Sabbath. They all worked in the steel mills or something in Birmingham, things like this, right? And so I thought, well, if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. So I went in there and I said, give me that job, and they gave it to me, and I was a professional dishwasher for 3 weeks. And I made some money, and I got enough money to think, well, I could probably get out to Vancouver now. And so I was only there for 3 weeks, so washing dishes. They wouldn't let me come out front because I had long black hair and I looked like a freak, and melted makeup on my face all the time. And but yeah, I saved some money, and then I went out to Vancouver. Called Larry, and he said, "Where have you been?" I said, "Well, actually, it's a long story." He said, "But you got a gig." Got into the level like that, didn't have to audition, and we did really well. We were a rock band, but we were super top 40. Like, we played the top stuff, the current stuff, and played some really good gigs. And the Metro was one of them. That was a great place to play.
Oh yeah, great room.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice, like a theater setting almost.
Yeah, with great murals on the wall.
Yeah.
Of rock stars and stuff. They really did that place up nice. The same guy that did those murals did all the same murals at the Vat in Red Deer.
I don't recall getting into that place. I've got a lot of Red Deer stuff, but yeah, that one's the Vat.
The Vat, yeah, because the owner of the Vat used to play in a Vancouver band, and called Mad Duck, I think they were called. And I said, "Oh, Terry, from you were in Mad Duck, yeah." And I said, "Okay, that explains why you got the same guy to do all the murals here, because it reminded me of the Metro." So it was pretty cool. And Vancouver was a great scene back then. Before, in fact, the bottom fell out of that scene well before Alberta did, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was there when it happened. It was Achy
You were there
Breaky
until
Heart
when?
came out, and within 3 weeks, 9 of our regular nightclubs had switched to country music. That was it. The gigs were done. They said, "You want to keep playing? Learn country. Start learning the line dance stuff, and we'll have line dance lessons Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday." What the? I'm going back to Edmonton. So, yeah, that was a pretty sad moment in rock and roll. But you know what? Again, I think I mentioned this on the show earlier. I do have to blame, put some of the blame at the feet of the agents. They were the ones giving us our song list and saying, "Look, you want to work for us in these 10, 15 clubs, you got to play these 50 songs, right?
Yeah.
Take your pick." And it was like so the creativity was getting pretty bad. You'd go see a band play, and it was like, God, I heard these same 8 songs from the band up the road an hour ago, right? So just things were getting a little boring and stale, I guess. It was hard to try and, God, we were trying everything to get noticed, but it was Achy Breaky came along and bam.
Okay, so this is an insider's joke. Your viewers may not get this, but you might get this, or any musician that would get it. It's an agent joke. Now, hey, God bless the agents. But they're the ones that did get us the gigs, and so they had a job to do.
Absolutely.
And they kept a lot of people working. So that's to be acknowledged. I'm not going to mention, but I'm not going to mention the name of the agent, but it was an agent that you and I would know. And there's always this joke I thought was really funny. A musician goes into Bob's office, the agent's office, and he goes, "Bob, where's that $50 that you owe me from the gig?" And Bob goes, "$40? Where am I going to get $30? Now, you get it, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, I get that. What? Yeah. Well, that's
not good. Not good with money. Not good with figures.
With money. What?
Not good with math.
No.
Arithmetic.
Well, that's it. I mean, like, we know how to count to 4. We know how to count to 8.
Sure. Yeah.
Sometimes we got as high as 32.
That's right.
But there were things like percentages. Oh yeah, they take 15%, and then one day, actually, how does this percentage thing work on a calc? Holy shit!
Yeah, sometimes it was fuzzy. You'd get a gig, and it's, how much is the gig? Well, that's $2,000, and then you get there, and no, it's actually 18.
Yeah.
What? You said 2, and they rope you in. I don't know, whatever. They're not all like that, but maybe just the ones that I dealt with. Maybe that's it. I don't know, but I always thought that was funny.
it was hard to learn the value of money, especially at that time, because in a lot of situations, like we would get to the next hotel, and the first thing we would say, we'd walk in the lobby, "Can we sign for our meals here?" "Yes." "Good. We get to eat this week." And that was
Yep.
it. We never saw money. We would sign our bills, and
Yeah.
at the end of it, they would take it all off, and it would be like, "Okay, you got $35 left."
Yeah.
You go buy a bottle of Jack Daniels or a little bit of weed off of somebody, and then get to the next place, and again, signing everything, never dealing with cash. It did, might have messed me up a little later in life, but
Yeah, it was a bit rough. But wasn't that great when you could eat? Wasn't that awesome? That was a big thing back then, right? Because if you didn't have a girlfriend or I'm going to say it, a girl of the week, because it happened a lot in the 80s, that would feed you, clothe you, buy you your hairspray. What were you going to do? You couldn't make enough money to eat properly, but that's the way it was back then.
I remember,
So I'm told.
yeah, sorry, I remember saying that to a bass player a lot of times too. It was be like, my bass player would be like, if you're gonna be out doing that, you should at least get her to invite the band over for a barbecue on Saturday.
Right.
Like,
Sure.
sure enough, burgers, chicken, beer, all that. Hey,
Yeah,
we're in,
yeah.
man. Thank you very much. So, hey, let's get into the 90s here now. Now, I've got this picture of you in a band called Threshold
Oh, yes.
from the 90s.
Yeah.
Now, you guys were you guys were in an original act?
We were like 50-50. We
Okay.
did put out an album on cassette, which you can still find. There are probably about 50 copies of them in my spare bedroom. So if you ever want,
Anybody
one.
wants one? What's
Yeah,
cassette?
cassette, and no, but we did some covers too. But it was weird in the Christian rock scene because for after I left the level in 90 some point in 1990, and I moved back to Edmonton because I was a fairly religious person, let's just say.
Yeah.
And I just had this kind of conversion, and not all my friends, but most of my friends thought I'd lost, the cheese slid off his cracker is what they said. The hamster fell off his treadmill, and words to that
boy.
effect. And so it was tough, but I did that for like 10 years. I was like hardcore, like I wanted to be the Striper of Edmonton. And so me and these other guys at that picture is actually taken at a church in Edmonton. That looks pretty rock and roll.
Yeah.
That picture, but that's a church in Edmonton. We had like lights and an insane sound man, and we went for it, and long hair and cool clothes and very Striper-esque, like lots of harmonies and metal and but we wrote some songs too, and it was hard to pick the covers because they had to be right for what we were peddling, which was the message of what we believed in at the time. And so so we would never change lyrics of covers that were too cool. They'd have to be really cool enough to play that we wouldn't get in trouble for or whatever, because there's some danger with that too. But yeah, it was fun, and I got to record, and it was good. It was a fun time.
Good. That's was it a difficult market? Did you find that like obviously the Christian music market caters to the Christians
Only.
that want pretty much, but well, not only. I mean,
well, the gigs that were booked were for Christian audiences,
I see. Okay.
Christian entertainment. It was up to the churches, the halls, whoever was promoting the gig to try to get non-believers into the event. But for the most part, it was Christian entertainment, and part of the reason was also because there was a lot of pressure from the church to make sure you're saying Jesus enough or whatever, and so it was a bit weird. So it's hard to be artistic at that time and sort of balance the message with, well, what if I want to sing a song about my wife? The pure love of your wife. Like, why can't we do it? Well, yes, but that's it might be a bit carnal, a little too carnal. We got to stay away from that. We got to get back to the message there. And I had just developed a move, like I just come out of playing rock and roll in the secular areas, and so I developed some cool stage moves, and one of them was called the Forbidden Move.
Oh
Now,
boy.
So, and at the time, it wasn't forbidden. It was just like what everybody else was doing, cool rock and roll stage moves and stuff. And so I developed my own that I could call my own. And I can't do it now because you need a guitar, and I'm nude from the waist down. So obviously we can't do this move.
Too good.
So yeah, good. Yes, right on. And
Pants are always optional on this show.
No pants allowed for this show. And so I've started doing the things I naturally do on stage, playing in the Christian rock band, and I get a talk from the pastor or whatever afterwards, like. It's always bad when the conversation starts with
yeah, that's not good.
It's not good. And it's a little, it's the gyrations and the it's corkscrew. It's cork is too close to and all this sort of tiptoeing that they could never use like really good like street language that I understood. And so I was told not to use the forbidden move. So I retired the forbidden move for those like 10 years that I was in the church. And then when I came out of it and I had a change in my head and I decided, that's not for me. So I went back to the old Terry and then like, hey, the forbidden move, I brought it back. And so that's what I called it. And you can see it in every one of every performance that I'm in. You'll see it at some point.
It's your go-to move now, eh?
It's a go-to move. Yeah. It drives the ladies stupid. I don't know what it does, and it's just I don't know. It's just a move, whatever. Yeah. Paul Stanley had his point and his little, dancing backwards.
Rock move number 12, rock move number 72, rock pose number 8.
But
all of them.
Who's got the balls to name it?
That's it.
And patent it. So, which I'm looking forward to doing that too, and making lots of money on that.
There you go.
So because if anybody does my move, you got to pay me. So isn't that good?
Oh, Jesus. I have to come see you guys play, and I'll be like, that must be it. No, I think that's the move he's talking about.
Oh, trust me, Mike, you'll know it when you see it. because there will be a swelling of the loins.
That's awesome, buddy. That's awesome. Okay. Now, from there, we get into, again, you are one of the most stylistic gents I know. You dress the part on stage. You perform. Your singing is. I think you're a really great singer too, Terry. I really do.
Thank you.
We'll play a clip of some of your original stuff a little bit later, but we're into the Punch Drunk Cabaret section of the program here tonight. And when I first heard about you guys, when you guys kind of first came into my radar, I thought great name. Then I saw the picture. It was like great look. And then I heard the music and I thought, wow, this stuff is really cool. And so how did that all come together? The beginning and the gestation of the idea, because it was a little, obviously quite different from what everybody else is trying to get happening.
Yeah.
It's a very unique.
Very, very unique, I thought. And it's funny because I didn't start the band. Mm-hmm. The band was already started without me, and they had an original bass player, and then he moved on. He had life things, kids and stuff like that. And so I was called in, and right away I knew like this is great music, because it harkened also back to my roots, again going back to like mom's 50s rock records. Yeah, and Carl Perkins and that sort of thing. And I was like, oh my God, this shit is the bomb, yo. So I thought this is good. I like this. This is really so. Yeah, and that was the goal from the beginning, was to dress. And we always talked about using the KISS model. You got to look a certain way. You have to look like the same band, and have a sound and that sort of thing. And so it served us well for the 3 albums I was with them. And it was a lot of fun. Played some good gigs, and always got talked about how you looked, and I didn't mind, because that's important, because you set yourself apart from everybody else out there. Yeah. And now everybody's wearing a top hat.
Yeah.
Mike.
Yeah. You know what? Hey, full disclosure. When I got my hat and I put it on, I went, oh Jesus, Terry's might have a problem with this one.
That's okay. That's okay, Mike, because when I put my top hat on, I thought Bill Bourne's going to have a problem with this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so apologies to Bill Bourne.
It all works out in the end, eh?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a clip of the Punch Drunk Cabaret video clip, "The Beard of Bees." This was an award-winning video, was it not?
It actually won Best Video at the Edmonton Music Awards that year.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm going to play a clip right from the beginning because you guys shot this out.
Drumheller.
Drumheller, I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it. I was just looking at the thumbnail I've got here, and I'm like, that doesn't quite look like it, so I'm not 100%. That's right. Out in Drumheller. Check out this video out, boys and girls. This is very, very well done and a pretty cool too. And this is the Punch Drunk Cabaret. This is this great song called "Beard of Bees." Here we go.
We're looking for honey, all I got was a beard of bees. We're looking for honey, all I got was a beard of bees. Hot as a hornet, honey really stuck it to me. I went flying, but all I got was stung. I went flying, but all I got was stung. My wings were clipped, and my bill got wrung.
Great job on that. Really good job. I mean, I can totally see why that ended up being video of the year there. That's
That was a lot of the credit goes to, of course, to Mark Rempel, who did he probably did most of the videos for us back then, and it was storyboarded originally by Randy, the singer there, and so yeah, it's a lot of thought goes into that stuff, and all I did was wear that bloody hot thing all day in the hot Drumheller sun. And we just walked around for miles to every place, and they had a GoPro go over us and stuff, and yeah, it was hot, but and you know how it is, it's hurry up and wait, but then when the camera rolls, then boom, you just turn it on and you go for it. So I can't recall, but I may have recorded that song with the mighty 12-string bass. I'm pretty sure.
the mighty 12-string Westone bass.
Waterstone.
Waterstone. God
Yes.
damn it.
Yes.
See, Terry, this is what happens when I don't write shit down, buddy.
That's okay.
apologies. That's
okay.
Boy, I should know better than that.
And you're wearing your glasses.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
Right?
Like they're helping. I'm going to ask you a little bit about the 12-string bass in a bit, but we're going to carry on into Renegade Eye here. Now, you did play with Crazy Dave, my guest from a couple of weeks ago in Crazy Dave's Renegades, but then in 2019, that became the band Renegade Eye with Pete and Rick on board as well.
Yes.
And you guys, I do believe, are working on some originals. Am I right about that?
Yeah. It's well, when the pandemic hit and stuff, and there's no gigs. Well, let's write an album. Let's write, and we were talking about that before anyway. And but then we really got to it. So we've probably got worked up about 17 demos. We probably play 4 or 5 of them live to pretty good response, and I'm very pleased with that. And yeah, it's very exciting times. Writing, being creative. You know how it is. It's pretty awesome.
That's good. Now you guys got any gigs coming up here that you want to plug in the?
Sure. Yeah, we have a Halloween gig with opening for Icons, the Kiss tribute.
Oh, those guys. Okay, yeah. Right
Yeah,
on.
yeah, down at Shakers. Yeah.
Shakers Roadhouse on
Yep.
on Halloween night. So I wonder how they're going to be doing the masks thing. Does your mask count as a mask?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know how they're going to do it because you're supposed to wear your mask when you're walking around, but you can take it off when you get to sit at your table
Yeah,
or when you're, yeah. So I don't know. I'm sure they'll find some creative way to get around it. And a lot of bars are doing that now, aren't they? They're doing, make sure it's AHS approved, and we got to get this machine rolling and make sure you guys follow the rules because we don't want to fuck this up. And
that's it.
so it's yeah. So now every gig is, as you can imagine, you can appreciate is coveted.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? My fear and hope is that it just everybody just whether you believe in the rules or not, just follow them because we don't want what happened in BC to happen here in Alberta as well too, where 99.9% of the clubs were doing everything by the book and we're following the rules and everybody was safe, but one asshole just said everybody put your phones away and everybody can party and 250 people crammed in the room and then they shut down the entire bar thing for that. And we just hope like hell, hey, everybody, it is what it is. Just roll with it. That's the public service announcement we want to get out there here today is that just play by the rules so we can all get back to it soon.
That's what happened in BC. It happened in BC and to a really good club in Kamloops called the Blue Grotto.
Blue Grotto. Played there a few times myself.
Yeah, great venue. And they were ready to open and give her, but some other bars had messed up. I'm not sure of the story, but because of that, then they decided to shut down the whole province. And it's like, they put in a bunch of money into it and stuff. And so I'm hoping that Alberta can, stay smart, as best you can. And then let's keep this thing rolling.
Absolutely. Big shout out to David Pupp, the owner of the Blue Grotto there. He's the guy who, had to, had 5 months of his place being closed. And then they did the opening and did everything right. He was open for one weekend. And then suddenly one other club on the coast makes it bad for everybody. And he's told they can't do it anymore. And so let's hope that all gets fixed. Anyway, let's keep rolling along here. Now, let's get into some good stuff here. Sawbones. How long have you had the nickname Sawbones?
I've had that. Actually, went back to the Punch Drunk days. Actually, prior to that, the band back in the Christian rock scene, I was with some of the same members that eventually became Punch Drunk. Anyway, on the road, I was always kind of the doting sort of uncle sort of thing, like make sure you get good proper lumbar support in the vehicle and make sure you get proper sleep at night, guys. We got to get, that's no more fast food on the road, it's got to eat proper. So I was called Bones because I liked Star Trek and the doctor was called Bones and I was kind of like a doctor. I knew all the little tricks you could do to help you and when you're on the road and stuff like that. So when Punch Drunk came along to do for us to do, we like nicknames in the band, and so it was suggested, how about going with Bones again there? And I said, yeah, that's cool. But I thought, we could expand that further because our look was like an old-timey traveling minstrel snake oil salesman.
There we go. I got your promo up here.
Right.
Can you see that on your end?
No, I know.
Still not seeing that. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
That's okay. And so we had that sort of we were selling snake oil and we looked sort of nice and dapper, but kind of dirty because we're on the road all the time. And I thought, well, back in the old timey days, country doctors used to go make house calls with their little bag. And if you had to amputate, some farm kid's leg or something, and then you'd have to do it and stuff. And so then his name locally was, well, let's get the old local Sawbones to look at him. Sawbones. Okay. So that stuck. So it's going with that. So it became Sawbones then. And I thought, well, when I start my own band, what else am I going to say? It's a cool sounding name. It's short and sweet. And so, it was the band name, but it's also my name, but I still wanted to represent the band. So, there you go.
That's cool, man. I mean, honestly, me, I've always been a marketing guy kind of thing. I love cleverness. I love clever names. And or just names that stand out. You're like, damn, that's it, man. That's a whole run there.
Yeah, that's also because Blunt Force Llama was taken. So can't win them all.
Blunt
Sawbones.
Force Llama. That is Classic, buddy. You get a bonus. You get a bonus point for that one. I'd hit my sound effects button here, but apparently I got a bad cable going today. So.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh well, that's what.
Fill in your own sound effects, folks. Fill in your own sound effects.
Yeah, trigger him at home there. There we go.
Yeah.
So now in 2019, you guys Sawbones. I got the album cover here. Released a 6-song EP called Rejects, and buddy, I'm telling you, I really love the song "Home to My Whiskey."
Oh, thank you.
Really, really like that song a lot, and I also think the lyrics. You got a really fun song, "The Pucks of Despair." That was the
hockey song.
Kind of a
That's
hockey
our
love song. It's
exactly
very cleverly done, and very well done as well too. You guys, you could put the album out last year, and it's available on iTunes, on the Evil Empire Spotify.
Yes, it is
as well, and
also at it's at Sunrise Records at West Edmonton Mall, and out of the back of the trunk of my car. So there's many ways you could get the music.
Absolutely, get a hold of it. I own a copy of the record. Digital
counts.
It still counts. And
sure.
You've got Jeff Nyback on drums. Jordan Ledin. Am I saying that right?
Ledeen, yes.
Ledeen.
He's a man of the world. Jordan Ledeen.
Yes. Great guitar player. He plays a lot like Oddly Freed from Cry of Love.
Yes.
One of my guitar heroes.
I know.
That's why I loved you when I first heard you guys. I heard that. I'm a rock and roll guy. I'm not a big country fan, but I like old school country. But I love that finger picking stuff that you guys are doing, man. It is so cool. Now as well, we got Darwin Redicop on bass and vocals. Now Darwin's had a bit of a rough go lately. Sadly, Darwin had a stroke not too long ago, didn't he?
3 strokes.
3 strokes.
Yeah.
What's the update on Darwin? How's he doing?
He's now he's past the danger zone, and it was dicey in the beginning because we didn't know, because it's all scary and you don't know what's going to happen. And so now he's in the rehab part. I'm not sure where he is in rehab now. He spent some time at the Glen Rose here in Edmonton, and then now he's off to a different rehab place. So now he's rehabbing. He's getting used to what his new life is going to be, which isn't not fully functional on a certain side of your body and that sort of thing. So but there's some feeling in certain parts, so it's hopeful. He's definitely in rehab, but he can talk, he can think, he can laugh. He does conference calls with the band members, and so that's really cool. So we're really happy. We didn't lose him, and he's got his head together. So we're obviously hoping the best for him, and we just keep waiting and waiting. I always try to put updates. Me and the band, we try to put updates up on Facebook to keep everybody up to date and stuff. And that's where he stands right now. So just on the road to rehab. And
if he's watching this live, I'm not sure if he is, but if he is watching it later on, cheers and get well, buddy.
Love you, Darwin. Get wetter.
Get the hell out of there, Darwin.
Get wetter. Get better. You can get wetter too if you want.
Cheers to you. So, you know what? I went through that without putting up the picture of Darwin there. So I got Darwin's picture up for everybody to take a peek at there. And what I'm going to do is segue from Darwin's picture right into a clip of Sawbones playing the song Hunker.
Hunker Down.
Hunker Down. This is a live clip as well, too. And this is the band Sawbones playing here in Edmonton. Really well done live clip with Darwin on bass here. So, ladies and gentlemen, check the one out. This is called Hunker Down by Sawbones.
Say, don't batten down the hatches.
And there we go. You know, we've been playing that CD around the house here a lot for the last couple of weeks, man. It's fun to have it go over and over there. I'm showing the Sawbones Rejects EP album cover. When the show is over and you guys are done watching us tonight, go to iTunes, buy it, download it, make it happen, man. Click that stuff. Click the Spotify thing. Tell it to repeat it, and just keep letting it go. So that way, you know, hey. 1 million plays equals 12 cents to the artist these days. So,
yeah, actually, you can actually, I don't know how many people do this. I know everybody's into streaming and stuff like that, but you can actually physically buy the song, which should actually help the artist a lot more than simply streaming. I'm just going to say, we do appreciate your streaming, all you fans in Latvia and New Sarepta and yeah.
Isn't that, yeah, like, I mean, obviously, like, I do still buy music, and it's usually to help support some friends and stuff like that. As you know, streaming, I don't go near Spotify. I'm not really a big fan of it, even though I'm on there with some of my stuff. But it's like whatever. But yeah, it helps support the artist, folks. Spend a few bucks, buy a couple of songs, buy the CD. God, the EP is about as much as a beer, so. You know, you can have one less beer and get one really good album in your hands. Now, I want to ask you about the 12-string bass. I'm going to bring your picture up here of you with the 12-string bass here, and it's not too many people are aware of the 12-string bass. It is a bass guitar with 12 strings on it, and to some people that sounds just crazy, but the sound of it is just ridiculous, is it not? I mean, having the two unison strings along with the bass string to create such a tone, splitting the sound out to two different amplifiers and all that, it creates such a gigantic sound. What first drew you? And I'm guessing the answer already in my brain what this is going to be, but because there's really only two guys I know of, Tom Peterson and Doug Pinnick. So I'm guessing Tom was probably first. Am I right?
Yeah, Cheap Trick Kiss was my first concert I ever saw, but Cheap Trick was the first band I ever saw because they opened for Kiss on the Love Gun tour. Yeah. Sold out 2 nights at the Coliseum back in the heyday. And it's like, oh, wow, Cheap Trick, cool. I didn't know anything about, Cheap Trick back then. It took me a couple of years to get into them. And then when I was starting to play bass and stuff, and 12-string bass, oh, my God. That's the big influence. He's a hero. He's my rock star. He's my rock god right there. King's X is also one of my favorite bands in the world. And I was lucky enough to see them the 3 times that they were here in Edmonton. And I got to interview them as well too when I was a broadcaster, and that was a big thrill because you ever interviewed anybody like famous? It's a fine line, it's a fine line, between being professional and shitting your pants because they're your hero. So that's pretty wild. But the 12-string bass, man, that is the shit. And also, I'll give you a third guy, not a giant influence or personal on me, but for your younger viewers, Pearl Jam, the song Jeremy. That's right. Opens with the 12-string bass. That's what that is. And so, yeah, it's. But I'm kind of surprised that more people don't use. If you're in a 3-piece band, in other words, or maybe a 4-piece band with only one guitar player, the 12-string bass is the perfect instrument because the guitar player can go off in a solo and you still sound like, behind him, right? Yeah. And you're filling it out, and it's huge. So it can be an unwieldy beast, but it's definitely worth it, and it's gotten me some notoriety for sure because I need every trick in the book, to make a difference and to be different, and so that bass does it for sure.
Well, I mean, visually, it definitely is appealing. You see somebody playing, it's like, that's a bass, but there's what's with that giant headstock and all the tuning pegs.
I get that all the time. Oh, you're talking about the bass. Yeah. Sorry. Hi.
Bam! Damn! Now I'm really, really choked that I got a bad chord for my sound effects because I'm telling you, I would have just been hitting home runs with the sound effects here tonight. God damn! Oh, you know what? I got this instead. You might hear this.
How dare you?
There we go.
Oh, apropos.
A little Greta there for everybody. So I mean, like King's X is, God damn, what a great band. Doug singing, but the sound of his bass, yeah, exactly. The sound of Ty's guitar, the way they blend together, and that as well too. But I saw Cheap Trick play at West Edmonton Mall in 2000, I do believe it was.
Yeah.
At the Joint in West
Yeah.
Edmonton Mall.
I was there too.
You were there.
Yeah.
Luckily, I knew one of the road crew members, and she was doing monitors that night. Her name is escaping me right now. She let me stand like right at her board, which was right next to Tom's amp, and you got to see it and hear it. You know, the orange amp.
Yeah.
And it just, you could kind of like just hear in that wall of sound. Now, I remember how nasty it was trying to tune up my 12-string acoustic guitar during breaks.
Right.
So, but I mean, of course I've got an acoustic, so I'm picking up the sound of Crazy Dave's DJ system as it's like, you know, while he's pumping fucking some White Lion tune through my, you know, I'm like, but I mean, God, it's got to hold its tune pretty good. I'm guessing a little better than my Seagull did.
Yeah, well, I mean, with any guitar, you want it to stay in tune and hold its tune. But, you know, like everything else, too, with humidity, somebody opens the door in the bar, lets in cold November wind in, things happen. So I've had to learn to tune that sucker as fast as I possibly can. So, yeah, it's funny because quite often, because it is part of the spectacle, I get more comments before anybody ever says to me, and this is again my fragile ego talking, for anybody after a show, you know, you meet people after the show, and when you're an original band, they want a piece of you, they want to buy something, they want you to sign you know, certain body parts and that sort of thing. So it's all very, very good for the ego. But before they say, you guys were great, you're a good singer, oh, that was really good, I usually get one of two things. Like, I love your hat, and what's great. That's good. I mean, I spent enough on it. I better hope you love it. And that's a really cool. What is that? An 8-string bass? And I go, hold on there, young fella. No, it's a man's bass. It's a 12-string bass. So I have to correct them quite often. 8 strings.
8 strings. Man space. I love it, man. That's good. And just the sound. God, the sound of those things is just amazing. Anyway, you know what? We got to get into the greasy part of the show here, buddy.
Okay, I'm ready.
I'm going to take my little corner bug out of there, and I bring up this graphic here along the bottom, which is me asking Terry SAWBONES GRANT, Terry, what's the best gig that you've ever played? I want to hear about it.
That's a tough one because I've seen some of your earlier podcasts, Michael, and some of these guys, some of these, I love you, man. The self-deprecating humor, that is my jam. I love it.
Yeah.
So, and some of the answers they came up with were like, oh my God. And so now Mike wants me on the show, and I don't have anything that, you know, like we played in front of 10,000 people, or we went to Europe, or when it's a personal thing because it was really a cool gig. It was at the Metro in Vancouver, and you know, big bar, and when there's lots of people in it, it's a big venue, lots of people drunk and having a great time and all that. One time, again, probably 1990, the Level were playing the Metro, and this is at the time, if you recall, Doc McGee, the famous band manager and stuff, he got in trouble for some, was it drugs or dope smuggling, some weird thing, and he got busted, and so he had to produce, as part of his penance, he paid a fine or whatever. It was just peanuts to him, and then he said, well, I'll make an album called Make a Difference, and we'll have all these rock stars put songs on there that touch the lives of people who have lost loved ones to alcoholism and drugs. Okay, whatever. But it was a wicked album. And some of those songs were recorded in Vancouver. Remember, at that time, the late 80s, early 90s, bands were coming to Vancouver to record.
That little mountain.
Big name bands, Motley Crue and Bon Jovi, Aerosmith. So we were playing the gig at the Metro, and Tommy Lee and Jason Bonham were in town recording their parts for that album. And Tommy Lee and his crew, they decided, let's go to a place called Club Soda. That was the other one of the other big clubs there in Vancouver. And Jason Bonham decided to go to the Metro. So Jason Bonham and his manager, they come to the Metro, and there he is. And we're like, oh my God, is that Jason Bonham? Holy shit. We finish a set. He comes over to talk to us, and he says, I want to jam with you. Or words to that effect. And we said, pardon? And he repeated it. And, he wants to jam with us. Oh, well, of course. What do you want to do? Can we play some Zeppelin? Naturally. Yeah, okay. So he goes up on the kit, and our drummer's over the moon because Jason Bonham's playing his kit. And Bonham, and we figured out what two songs we were going to play. And he just goes up and warms up for 10 seconds. Okay, ready. And so we knew he was going to kill it. At the time, I was playing the keyboards too, and we decided to play Immigrant Song and Misty Mountain Hop.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to start the song, Misty Mountain Hop, down, 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 on the keyboards. So now I am leading, technically, Jason Bonham, the fruit of the loins of Led Zeppelin legend John Bonham. And I'm, again, trying not to shit.
You're setting the tempo, eh? Yeah.
That's right. I'm trying not to shit my pants, because in the late 80s, 90s, you're wearing very tight trousers. And so I'm like, okay, here we go. So I'm like trying to keep the tempo, and he's like, and he goes into it, and I'm like, oh my God, he's awesome. And we played those two songs, and he was killer. And did the Immigrant Song, and then I jumped up on the riser with him, and I'm rocking with him again. It's like this guy came from the testicles of one of the greatest living drummers of all time, and I'm in harmonic symphony with this man, and I'm like, this is amazing. And I wish I had the footage to show you, but it was actually filmed because we're recording ourselves for promo for something. It was filmed, and it was us playing with John Bonham. So he's probably the biggest celebrity guy I got to jam with, and that's sort of my little Led Zeppelin touching the hammer of the gods, as it were. Yeah. And then he loved it so much he came back the next night, and you want to jam again? Okay, sure. No, I don't want to do Led Zeppelin. What do you want to do? I want to play Tush by ZZ Top.
What?
And we're like, okay, we've all played it a billion times, and we're like, Jason Bonham. Yeah. So we went up and we did Tush, and he had a great time. And we found out later he was actually there to steal our guitar player, because our guitar player was wicked, and he asked him to come join his band, and then they went to record. He didn't take it. He turned Jason Bonham down. Oh. Bonham went on to record an album in Vancouver, and then put out a solo album, and did his thing or whatever. And who knows what that guy could have done. My guy.
God, I remember that Bonham album too. It was
Vancouver singer, I believe, was a Canadian singer at least.
Yeah. That's right.
So that was probably the best gig as far as the greatest memory, and just like being high as a kite, and better than your first gig. You're excited, your first gig, your first guitar, your first stooping, and but that was the favorite, I think.
That's great. I mean, I love stories like that. The best gig isn't always about playing in front of 10,000 people. It's about what connection you had on a certain night, kind of thing. And that's great. I love hearing that. That's great. So now, but sadly, we got to flip the pancake to the burnt side of the pancake now.
Yep. Okay. Let me take a shot here.
Yeah. Let's do one here. Cheers, buddy. All right. What's the worst gig that you ever played?
The problem there, Mike, is there have been so many.
Yeah, it's hard to pick one, isn't it?
It's really hard to pick. I mean, I could go everywhere from, the roach infested Windsor Hotel in Red Deer. Which the gigs were great, but the hotel was terrible, where you smelled half a dozen offensive smells by the time you got up to your hotel room. There, bus breaking down in the middle of winter, an hour outside of Yellowknife drivetrain falls out of the school bus. We're there for hours. And things like that. I could say that. I could say Christmas in Slave Lake, where someone stole our bus, and that's where Gator was playing drums for us. Got drunk, slashed his hand on a box, a power box in the hallway, and cut his thumb open, and he couldn't play for the gig. And but he recovered. That was the story I was going to tell you. He recovered from that. That was a nightmare because we lost our drummer and we had to get a fill-in. I could say that. I could say getting fired from Falaire and Pincher Creek and all these things. But I'm gonna tell you, not necessarily the worst gig, but the worst regret, which is associated with gigs, because it turned into what could have been like the best gigs of my life, and we'd be having a different conversation right now. In the 80s, I was playing in Medicine Hat, and this particular place, and it had like two bars: the rock bar that we were playing in, and a country bar. And this family band was playing at the country bar, and they kept coming over to our bar, and the two boys in the country band and country family band, and we'd hang out and talk, and they were really cool and super accomplished, like really young, both of them barely out of their teens, but they liked the showbiz aspect of what I was bringing to the thing, and they got to know us, and I was like, oh, you guys are really wicked players and stuff, and they said, and we kept in touch over the next year or two, and then they asked me, come join. We're starting a new band. We're breaking away from the family band. They're from Saskatchewan, and we want to do more stuff, originals, do our own thing, and we want you to join our band. And I thought, oh my God, these guys are so wicked at playing. And I was still fairly insecure as a bass player. I was like, I can't compete. I can't even. I was too shy and too scared to learn, go to the next level. But they weren't the next level. They were next levels. They were way up there, very accomplished, killer musicians. And I turned them down. The name of those boys, one was Kevin Churko, and the other was Corey Churko.
Oh boy.
Now, if any of you know the Churkos, Kevin Churko went on. They actually formed that band. They formed was called the Voyagers or something, and they won a Battle of the Bands of the world, and they went to Japan, and they did a bunch of things, and then they went off and did their own thing. Kevin Churko is now a big famous producer in Las Vegas. Produced Ozzy, Cheap Trick, Five Finger Death Punch, I believe, and Corey Churko played for somebody called Shania Twain. Kelly Clarkson, and then they hung out with Todd Kearns, an old friend of mine, and then went on to do Took, and they all hung out, and I turned those guys down, and to this day I have to wake up, pull my head out of the noose just so I can get up and go to work. So that's not really the worst gig, but it's the worst decision I ever made.
Yeah, oh man, Bud, that's one of the tougher ones to hear. That's wow, the Churkos. Yeah.
They're awesome. They're so good, and I could have learned so much. I should have done it, but what are you gonna do?
Super talented guys. Corey is just amazing. I mean, what a great career he's gone on to have and stuff. So now that brings us to the last of the questions here tonight, which is, what's the craziest, wildest road story you got? Did you hear Dave's 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Did you see my face curl up? Everybody was says, we were all like shocked, but then we saw your face kind of make funny. Then I went, it seemed to make it go better. So my face is ready.
It was, I don't think anybody can top that one, because I could think, I couldn't get the term shit spray out of my head for 2 days. So, and I'm like, Dave bastard, like, how can I possibly talk? Like, I've seen a lot of things. Like, I've not participated in crazy stories. Yeah. But I've seen a few here and there. The craziest story, maybe a split between, we're playing the hotel in Calgary, the Regis, or on that street. Oh, yeah. Somewhere in there, and whatever the bar is, it's either the Regis, the one beside it, where you're on stage, and across from you is the washroom. To your left, to stage left, is the entrance to the bar. Across from you is the washroom. And one time we were playing, and all of a sudden, and there's people going into the washroom. You don't pay much attention, and all of a sudden, cops and ambulance show up, and a guy was knifed in the bar. and got
Oh,
killed.
Jesus.
Got killed apparently in the washroom. And so what can you do? You don't stop playing is what you do. You don't stop playing. It's whatever you do.
Yeah.
So because we didn't know anyway, just but unbeknownst to us, someone had gone on to
Another realm.
another realm to meet the choir Isabel, push up the daisies, etc. But a crazy scene are things like guys swinging chairs in front of the dance floor, and a guy knocking my mic stand into my teeth, and another girl at Tin Lizzie's, which used to be called Rockers. We were the first band to play there when it was called Rockers, and she's standing in front of my mic stand. She's all sexy, making sexy faces, and I'm singing, and she goes, "Whoa!" and she grabs me by the ball sack and balls me enough to I thought I was gonna barf on her. I should have, but I didn't because I'm a professional.
Yes. Oh yeah.
But a funny crazy scene was we were playing in Yellowknife, a weird place to play, a cool place to play in the summer. Sun shines all the time. You don't know what time it is. We stayed in a diseased band house. Everybody got sick. But we were playing one night in Yellowknife, and hardly anybody in this bar. I want to call it the Rec Room. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah. Actually, yeah. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jesus.
Okay. So we're playing there, and it was like a weeknight, and you're up there for 3 or 4 weeks at a time, and you totally lose track of time, and it was so weird. And there's a couple standing to my right, and they seemed such a nice, loving, caring, nurturing couple to each other. And there's hardly anybody in the bar, and they're standing beside the pool table in the side bar part where you're standing and watching the band, and they got into a discussion. Then it got really heated, and now they're arguing and pushing each other in the bar. And of course, because we're professional, we're just playing, but we're still looking at everything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, don't forget to sing, blah, blah, and you're still looking over there. And they're pushing each other, and it's getting heated. And he, like a scene out of an old Beretta episode. He grabs a beer bottle and fucking smashes her over the head with a goddamn beer bottle, right in front of us. And it was like slow, right on the head. And everything was slow motion, hits the ground like a sack of potatoes. And we're like, oh my God. But we're professional, and we don't stop playing because that's what you do. We didn't help her. We were just like, oh my God, but keep playing. But we're pointing in the bouncer, and everyone's like, and they're grabbing the guy and whatever, and they haul him out of there. And there's blood all over the place, and there's shards of a microscopic beer bottle glass on the pool table, and on the floor and everywhere. But it was like right out of a movie. And she lived and everything, but it's pretty. You've seen a few random acts of violence, as you do, and your scummier. Oops, not scummier. You're less well-to-do drinking establishments, and that was one where that was just like a real life crazy thing. Because sometimes people get drunk and they do stupid things. We've all had regrets, the walk of shame afterwards and that sort of thing. I never did it because I was always in my hotel room. She had to do the walk of shame.
She had to do the walk of shame.
But that's another podcast.
That's another podcast. That's we're gonna.
So,
we might
so
have to get it.
I'm sorry, I don't have like a great I don't have swinging feces in a.
Oh my God!
And I don't have stuff like that. I just have a lot of violent stuff. But that was pretty good. But it's just lots of crazy memories like that. But that was always vivid because that's how you kill a person: a beer bottle over the head.
Jesus
and
Christ,
but right in front of you. And you're hit by the glass, and it's crazy.
And there's always that little dilemma too. Yeah, like you said, you want to. Do I help? No, I'm playing. If I stop playing, all the attention goes to the fight.
Yeah.
And that was what we've been taught. Don't stop playing. If you stop, everybody's just going to get involved in the fight business. If you keep playing, most of the place is oblivious to what's going on, right? So
that's right. It's the same thing when you make a mistake on stage. If somebody in the band makes a mistake on the stage, a blatant error that really fucks up the band, the rest of the band should not ever do this.
Oh yeah,
right?
that's
Just
right.
roll with it, keep playing, and let everything, because no one will notice unless you're a musician and you really thought about it. And same thing with fights and stuff like that. Sometimes people don't, but at the same time, fights happen, and all of a sudden there's a big crowd, and people are like, "Oh, go, go," and then the bouncer gets involved. But things happen, and that's the great thing. That's the great thing, Mike, about playing in clubs and learning your craft in the clubs is people getting smashed over the head with a beer bottle. That's the great thing about it. That's if anything I've learned.
Yeah,
That's
seeing the just the bottom of the barrel of humanity going at it on the dance floor kind of thing. And it's
that's
like,
right.
I always say, man, I got my guitar, El Kabong, you. I'll fucking El Kabong you. You get near me, man. Like
El Kabong.
El Kabong.
Apropos.
Absolute
Too
shit.
shame.
All right, you know what, bud? We're getting near the end of the program here. You got any shout outs you want to throw out to anybody out there?
Well, obviously to my bands. You know, I have 2 bands that I'm in currently, and you know, my guys in Sawbones. Love you guys. Love you, Darwin. Hang in there, man. Get better. You know, we love him. Eventually, there will be a gig for him, like a benefit in Camrose. The band is based out of Camrose, and there'll be a benefit for him. Raise some money, because those costs, you know, you're in the hospital, and then rehab costs, that they skyrocket. So there's going to be benefit for him at some point where the venue can hold maximum capacity. We're not there yet, obviously. So one day we'll do that. So shout out, love. And of course to my my hard rock and compadres in Renegade Eye. They're the best, and we have a good time, and it's lots of fun rocking and rolling. And I will tip my hat, my chapeau to you, Mike, for allowing me allowing yourself to scrape the very bottom of the barrel to have a guy like me on your show. I appreciate that.
Don't say that at all. It really has been a pleasure having you on board, man. Honestly, I really think you are one of the guys. It's your bass playing, your singing, your look, your attitude. And after talking to you tonight here, I am blown away at the similarities in how our careers have played out. The same venues.
We know a lot of the same people, don't we?
That's just it. And like, you know, you said you lost your bus got stolen in Slave Lake. We blew the motor up in Slave Lake. We lost.
Did you?
Bus. Just all these. I'm gonna watch this again later, and I'm gonna make a little checklist. I'm like, yeah, you know, Jesus. It's crazy, man, and it's been a real pleasure talking to you here tonight. Anybody needs anything equipment wise, go see you down at the Highland store at L&M as well too.
Oh yeah, I can provide you with all your musical instrument needs.
There you go. And as well, if you're interested in a 12-string bass,
we don't sell them.
Don't sell them, but
sorry, you're out of luck.
Talk to Terry about it. He's the guy. He'll, you know.
Yeah, if you want to look at one or envy me, I'm perfectly happy to indulge you.
Yeah, that's good. Now, as well, I want everybody out there to go check these guys out. Renegade Eye on Facebook. They have a gig coming up at Shaker's Roadhouse on Halloween night with Kiss Icons tribute out of Calgary. And as well, Sawbones, check out the album Rejects. It's an EP that's available on iTunes and Spotify. Download it, buy it, and download it, and enjoy it. And play it for your friends, too. Go like these guys on their Facebook page, Renegade Eye and Sawbones as well. And any other social media stuff that's out there. Just support your local musicians. These guys are the real deal, man. Terry,
not just us. All local musicians, because there's the established bands. Yes, you should support them, but also support the local up and coming bands and groups and artists that are doing stuff. There's a young band called Pandemic, funnily enough.
Yeah.
They're young, like hot young guys with long hair, and they look good in their tight dungarees, and you know they're bands like that. Carson McDonald, a young kind of a rockabilly old style country guy, and all the cover bands. It doesn't always have to be original bands. Support it all, because the live thing, that's what it's all about, and supporting local, and including restaurants and everything else. It's all about local, and the industry will be better for it.
Absolutely. And everybody keep following the rules so we can keep it going, because it's slowly been opened up. The door has been open. Let's keep it open, folks. Please do your stuff out there. Don't be that dick, that gets somebody shut down, and then we're all, it's hard to play outdoor venues in wintertime in Alberta. That's for sure, right?
Yeah, there won't be too many drive-in shows in the winter, that's for sure.
That's just it. We need these indoor stuff happening right now, so everybody behave out there. And once again, I thank you for your time here tonight, Terry. It's been a pleasure. You take care of yourself, my friend. Our best to Darwin as well, too. Sawbones, like I said, get the EP off of iTunes and Spotify. Renegade Eye playing at Shakers Roadhouse. Mr. Terry Sawbones Grant, it has been a pleasure. I raise my glass to you once again, my friend. Cheers, buddy.
Cheerio.
Boodoo. And we'll talk to you soon, my friend. Thanks for being on the show tonight.
Take care. Thank you.
Awesome. Good night. There we go. All right. I pop that out and I do that, and it's just me again. What a great guest. What a great guest. That was a really cool show tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, go to my website. Let's take that out. partyhog.com, and you can get more Road Story shows. This was show number 10. I've got 9 other ones with some other great guests. If you want to hear that story about what we were talking about, it's in the last one, okay? It's the craziest road story I've got so far. But again, thanks to my guest tonight, Terry Sawbones Grant, for doing a great job. Follow his stuff, his band stuff as well. Partyhog.com for more road stories. I leave a comment. I was supposed to do this one at the beginning of the show, but I didn't. Facebook at Party Hog. Follow me as well. All my basement shows, road story shows, and some new stuff going on the YouTube page. And I'm an Instagram guy, but I don't know what I'm doing there as well, too. So, ladies and gentlemen, I owe one more time here tonight. I'd also like to thank my sponsor for the evening, House Elf Cleaning Service. Search in Facebook for the House Elf Cleaning Service. Give them a call, and they can come clean your place. I'd like to thank you once again for tuning in to the show tonight. I don't think that worked again. I still keep fucking that thing up, though, and I don't have the audio for it. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning into the Party Hog Basement Road Story Show here tonight. I am the Party Hog, Mike Braniff, and peace and love. We'll see you next week. My guest next week is drummer Eric Young from my band Chrome and many other bands. Eric Young, we're going to lay it down next week. You guys ready for this? Thanks once again to all of you for this experience here tonight, and we'll say goodnight with a little bit of this.